Good morning, and you're watching QTV this morning. I am your host, Jennifer Sonko, and joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Balde. You know, I love the outfit anyway.
This outfit is dope. It's amazing,
Yeah.
Jennifer. I like the African in it. I mean, it's beautiful, done by Cham Creation in Ibo Town.
Yeah, I think Cham Creation actually did well. So we're sending love to him. We know he's not in Gambia currently, he's in Senegal.
Yes.
But I'm 100% sure some of his workers there are watching and they love the outcome of it.
Absolutely. This is done by Cham Creation. Asobi lañ def tay mak Jennifer Sonko. Nice na trop Cham Creation jëriñ jëf Ibo Town. What do we have, Jennifer?
Yeah, so before we go into the program proper, I'll just give you a rundown of some of the things that we have for you today. So luckily, we are keeping up with the African proverbs, which we prefer so much because, like we mentioned, it has a deep meaning.
Yes.
And it means a lot to us.
Yes,
We are Africans, and it reflects what we do on a
These are the things that connect with us. I mean, they are the things that that define us.
Yeah.
It tells us who we are, and it guides us. So it's important for us to be doing these African proverbs time to time on this program.
All right. So from there, we'll go on to the newspaper review, and we are joined again by Momodu Mboch once again, and the Community Watch as well is here, and social issues. Today we'll be looking at a very important topic, that is IEC registration. So I believe that is all we have for today, not forgetting the world of sports. We've not been having it for a very long time.
Yes.
And we'll be joined by Ade Drame to take us through
and
what is
there's a lot
happening
of
in the world
things
of
happening currently when it comes to the world of sports.
Yep.
So Ade will be here.
Yeah, and also Click segment will be here as well. Buba Fati will be having an interview with Mam Jara Production.
Okay.
And I think Mam Jara Production has been doing quite well. But when they come here, they will talk to us about their future plans. So what is our African proverb for today?
Well, Janaba, the proverb we have today on this program, do not call the forest that shelters you a jungle.
Okay, so what does that tell you?
A deep meaning.
Yeah, that's why we love the African proverbs.
Do not insult those who, someone who is taking care of you. Don't forget your past, Janaba.
Yeah.
It's always important for you to reflect gratitude. It's important when it comes to the life of a human being. Don't forget where you started.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to use I'm going to give a different definition to this particular proverb. I don't know if it works, but that is what it means to me. Sometimes, you know, recently I talked about the fact that if you are doing a job and when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like going to work, that is not the job for you. You know, so when you work for a particular institution and when you go outside, you do not have anything positive to say about them and they get to pay your salary, that's not a good idea.
Exactly.
Leave the job. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Because you shouldn't call the forest that shelters you a jungle.
It happens.
This is what it means to me. Wake up in the morning, you feel like this is not the job that I'm supposed to do. Do not go and do it. It's not meant for you.
I'll just connect this to what you just said. Jenaba, most of these people, most people are complaining about their jobs here and there. You'll hear different comments, negative comments about their jobs. At the end of the time, they're still doing the job.
Exactly, and it is what shelters them.
If you know you are not happy or you're not comfortable, quit the job.
Yeah, that is the thing.
It's better than tarnishing people.
Exactly, but if you feel like the passion is there and it's obviously what you want to do despite the challenges, wake up every morning and go do it. And then this also reflects the family problems here and there as well. Sometimes, you know, it's quite okay that in our family settings, sometimes we are not happy, but let's just solve it internally. Absolutely. And some of these things shouldn't go outside at some point. So for me, basically, that is what it means. So I just hope that we'll keep up with the African proverbs. Mr. Mboch, yesterday I engaged Ade Drame for the first time in relation to African quotes, because normally this is just a discussion between me and Ibrahima. But I think you also have the urge to say something right now.
Absolutely, especially in the end there when you said, if you don't like the job, quit. No, don't be a quitter. Adapt. You see, reality is never going to change to suit you. You are going to have to change to suit reality.
But Mr. Mboch, I do not agree with that, because a job is something that you're supposed to have a passion for. So at some point, if that doesn't exist, it's not good to adapt, because sometimes things might go wrong on the job because you're not okay with it. So for me, that is it. But it's also good to adapt when it comes to a job that you want and you work there and you have the passion for it, then adapt and go for it.
That's it, but you've got it right there. You used the term you are supposed to have a job in which you have a passion. How many people have a passion in their jobs? Life doesn't work like that. For some people, yes. I mean, maybe footballers. I love football so much. I become a professional footballer. Fantastic. Maybe I love words. I love journalism. You know, I love literature and stuff like that. Then I become a journalist.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But do you know how many thousands of people have, you know, have had jobs they don't have any passion for, but they're going to have to earn their keep.
Mr.
That is true, but Mr. Moj, why are you here? You are here because I know you have passion for this. It's not an accident.
But this is my point.
But it's something you can work towards.
I might have been lucky, yes, you work towards things, but there are so many factors in people's circumstances that are not of your own making, not of your own choosing.
True, but you can work towards.
No, there are things that you cannot adapt to.
I mean, yes.
You cannot adapt to certain conditions, certain situations. It's better for you to quit and go get something better, Mr. Moj.
You are limited only by your imagination. There is no limit to our capacity to adapt. But yes, in the end, I accept that you may come to a dead end where you may have to leave.
And when you come to that dead end, it's only passion that can keep you there at some point. Yes or no?
But if you had the passion, you wouldn't get there in the first place. This is what you were talking about.
Well,
if you didn't have
the argument is not for the African code proverbs.
Your resilience. It is your resilience.
It's complicated.
But resilience accompanied by passion as well.
Okay, all right.
But anyway.
Passion is going about.
Yes. All right, so let's
we also have to understand, I know it's taking a lot of time.
Yeah, so we will just go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will take a look at the newspaper review. Do stay tuned.
Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Abalde. Take us through what is happening. Is that The Voice?
This is The Voice newspaper, Janaba. On the main headline of The Voice newspaper, President Barrow signs access to information bill into law. Finally.
Yeah, that's a win for us.
Okay. We also have President Barrow welcomes APRM plan to establish office in the Gambia. Scientists urges government to invest in climate change. GAIPA launches second next strategy document. That's The Voice newspaper.
Okay, moving on the Standard newspaper, we have President Barrow signs access to information bill into law. We also have DP to contest December elections all by itself. Drug suspect bailed after 40-day detention without charge. SFL set to announce bid for presidency. UDP takes another big week from NPP. COVID-19 kills 10 more Gambians, 63 new cases recorded. That is all on the Standard.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
We're going with these papers today,
yes,
Janaba. So we have two papers.
Yeah, so we've seen that Mr. Moj, welcome once more. SFL set to announce bid for presidency. A lot of controversy surrounding this currently.
I wonder why. But here the point is set to announce. When he announces, then we will take it on from there.
Okay. So,
okay.
All right. So when he announces, then we get to discuss this because we are not sure yet. Is that the case?
Absolutely.
All right. So moving on, President Barrow signs access to information bill into law. Just the last time I was having a conversation with Adedrame in relation to signing the access to information bill into law and ways in which this can be implemented effectively. So what ways do you think can be used to actually enhance the effective implementation for this?
Well, we just use it wherever we go to get information, you know, as we're entitled by this act, and the official refuses, then we know the route, the path that we're going to go. So now this is all put into law. It's a different ballgame now, and this is the first time that we've got access to information act, as it were. I mean, a lot of African countries, we know, I mean, try to dodge this bit because it ensures, it makes sure that you behave yourself, there will be transparency and perhaps that will lead to good governance. So fantastic. That is why everybody's been excited when you read the papers, GPU, Sheriff Bojang, everybody's got positive, wonderful things to say about President Barrow right now because of this access to information bill.
So President Barrow talked about the fact that he just fulfilled a campaign promise from 2016.
Yes, absolutely.
So do you agree that this is his biggest achievement since he came into power? Because I've seen few individuals take this as a justification. Do you think so?
I'm not sure about this this comparison. Is this the biggest? How do we measure the biggest? So we measure things in their context. There are so many things that he has done. So it's just a matter of opinion. Which one would you put as the biggest? For me, I want to look at the whole canvas, if you like. So yes, it is certainly a big moment, if you like, in our history for the media. It is absolutely a big moment. I mean, the other day we've signed also a disability bill. Somebody else might, now it's a Disability Act. Somebody else can say that that was the biggest. So this sort of fake precedence, I call it, is quite fake. Let's look at things in their context and just appreciate them in their right level.
How does this strengthen our democracy? Access to information bill have been signed, approved by the president. How does it strengthen the democracy?
Well, we need to know what the government is doing. So this bill empowers us to get information that we want. Democracy works on information. Today everybody talks about data, data being the new gold or the new oil, if you like. So absolutely, this is how it strengthens it. We want information, you give it to us. You don't give it to us, we go to the courts. See, this is really what the act does. Yeah. And the courts will probably force the way they need to. I mean, there are certain information, you know, they are really determined, controlled by confidentiality.
That's what I want to I want to delve on. I mean, is there limitations?
Obviously,
there are informations that are not to be sent outside. People should not get those information.
Obviously, national security, confidentiality. There can be all sorts of reasons why governments cannot share certain information. Granted, that's all granted, absolutely. But again, there's a huge swathe, as it were, of area where we should be given information. So this is what the access to information does.
Well, Jenaba, it's important. It's the first time it's happening in the Gambia to sign access to information bill, and I hope that Gambians will also welcome this with open hands, Mr. Mboj.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, haven't you seen the papers? All civil society organizations, the GPU, activists, and everybody is very excited about it. And of course, as they should, really. This is a significant moment in our history, really.
Yeah, quite significant. So moving on, let's take a look at the economy and the food that we get to process, if there's any in the country. As GAIPA launches second strategy document, they're talking about value addition to be able to export some of the resources that we have in the Gambia to other countries. I mean, what extra can be done? I know at some point we used to be called the peanut economy. What can we do with our groundnut?
Added value. I mean, we've been talking about added value for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Really, for as long as I can remember, possibly after independence, immediately after independence. But again, always we will point to perhaps lack of resources or expertise or lack of this or lack of that. And afterwards, of course, with the 22 years, you know, of the dictatorship, we didn't really focus and concentrate on where we should be. So, absolutely. So now things have opened up. Ideas will come. Invite in the private sector. if I want certain things, it is the private sector who have the money and perhaps even the good management. We tend to think that public institutions are not managed well. So this is it, invite in private sector, give them incentives and certain conditions, have a good regulatory body and bring in private sector. I think one could see a huge difference perhaps in 10, 15, 20 years' time. These things, they take time. It's just that when you are in a hurry, then you get frustrated and disappointed.
Don't you think it's a problem for us to privatize most of our sectors, Mr. Mbodj? When you talk about a particular sector which is under a government, most people tell you, why not you invite the private sector? Or why not you privatize it? Let's privatize Ports Authority, the ferries, let's privatize this, let's privatize that. Privatization, is that not a problem?
Why? What is the problem?
Is it not going to be a disadvantage? Things that the government should handle and it benefit its people. When you privatize it, at the end of the time, what is going to be the benefit?
Do you know something? We all say that most of our public institutions are failing. Over the years, if you say that in the West, they started privatizing because they've suddenly realized that in so many different areas, the state really cannot do the job. So they started privatizing. Actually, when you privatize, that's when you begin to control in many ways. I remember one advisor to the former Prime Minister of Britain, Margaret Thatcher, saying that actually he had to make Margaret Thatcher understand that actually when you privatize, that's when you really control. You put down, lay down your conditions, you have your regulatory body overseeing that, you know that the person who owns the business is going to make sure that the business works. In the public sector, it's everybody's, therefore it's nobody's. In a private sector, it's mine. You better make sure that you work, you deliver. So most of the social services in the private sector will possibly deliver better results than the public sector. We all see what happens in public sector. This is the advantage of privatization.
That's where the control should come in
the regulatory body. It's easier. So when you give it to a private individual who really wants to make sure that, you know, he wants to keep his contract. So his workers must work. He must deliver. You've laid down conditions, you know. If you don't fulfill one condition, we will fine you this, or we will take the contract. You know, you've got your negotiations, your ways of controlling that money.
Mr. Mbodj, in the Gambia, which institutions should be privatized? I just want you to...
No, that's a different point. That's for economists and policy makers.
I don't think that is for Mr. Mbodj to decide.
I just wanted you to at least help us with that.
I think Mr. Mbodj cannot decide that in a way, unless if we want to remove him from QTV and take him to the policy-making department.
I was just giving you the arguments for privatization or public institution.
I know.
This is sort of common in
but
books.
Here,
sort of common.
You will hear, people will be mentioning certain institutions to be privatized. I just want to know whether you are part of that group. I mean, that
I don't think Mr. Mbodj can be as a journalist. But moving on, as a journalist, I'm afraid he might not be able to do that. But moving on, we've seen that DP to contest December election all by itself. Just yesterday, I was engaging our guest here in relation to Gambia being a multi-party state. Is this good for us? And what is your take on coalitions? And quite confident here, DP to contest December election all by itself. Confident.
I wonder why it sort of found the need to say that. What is DP actually? Is it Democratic Party? Yeah. But this is, when I read the story, it said actually nobody's heard much about this party.
Yeah.
And I think the leader is doing a PhD in accounting or something like that at the University of Maryland in the US. I do not know. Okay, fine. You're going to contest by yourself, and then what? I do not see any the value in this. I'm not sure what is the news value in this. You know, so that's it. That's all I have to say.
But moving on, what is your take on the fact that every single day, just an exaggeration, we hear of a new party being formed? What does that tell you?
Absolutely. Well, what does it tell us? Well, we've gone through 22 years of dictatorship, and now suddenly we've found our wings. We can fly. Everybody thinks that you can become president. So this is it. You know, politics is alive and kicking. This is what we like. Sooner or later, George Time will sort out the men from the boys, as it were. Sooner or later.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's what time does. Time will always sort out. Right now, we are in the midst of an excitement, you know, really. Now we found our voices back, so everybody's excited. So now or later we will calm down.
Well, let's see what will happen very soon. December is just at the corner. And that day we will know. We will separate the ship from the good.
All right, so moving on. I think we've been neglecting this for a while because most of the time when we get to read the papers, we see something on COVID. It seems COVID is still here because COVID-19 kills 10 more Gambians, 63 new recorded cases. So I don't know what can be done at some point. Is it attitude? Because probably it depends on that right now.
Yes, apparently now we've got, what, 311 deaths and just under 10,000, as it were, reported cases. Well, we know what to do. The social distancing, the jobs are here. We know what to do. But for some reason, you know, some of us are not doing it. So this is when it's a reality. The pandemic is a reality, so we're going to have to deal with it. Yes? Either we are mature, you know, do what we need to do, perhaps curb it earlier, let's put it that way, or we are not, and then we pay the price. You see, in life, that's how it works, you know. Either you do what you're supposed to do, then possibly you will get the outcomes that you want. Even when you do what you're supposed to do, you cannot guarantee anything. In life, nobody can guarantee you anything. So either that, or you don't do it, then it keeps on going on. And when it keeps on going on, it mutates. This is why we've got the Delta variant. Okay, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, it keeps on mutating, how far would it go? Would it start attacking younger people? What would happen? So these are the options that we have, and each must be left to your own conscience.
I can remember the WHO representative came on this program sometimes last week. This guy said there are a lot of vaccines that they have to dispose of because people are not taking this very seriously. At some point, they cannot use those vaccines. A lot of vaccines, Mr. Mbo.
It expires. We've been hearing about that. It expires. We all know that. Africa, in all other parts of Africa, we've read in the papers, in the media, that a few countries have had to sort of dispose of the expired vaccines. Absolutely, this is what happens. This is a reality. So that is, you see, really, the rational mind will take these facts and incorporate into our thinking patterns. This is really what we should be doing. This is really what is required of a citizen. Get the facts and then assimilate into your actions in what you do. But again, you do find a lot of people who didn't do this. So with us, we must just constantly be urging people, talking to people. Possibly every day you manage to persuade, convince one or two.
I think we should emulate Morocco. Because I was watching the news yesterday and they talked about the fact that Morocco is doing quite well when it comes to their vaccination process, to an extent that they're even thinking of how to vaccinate 12-year-olds and 7-year-olds. But that has not been tested yet. Obviously, the WHO is working on that. So I think Morocco is worth emulating when it comes to these things. Like you mentioned, some of these things are expired and we have to throw them away. And all of these jabs are in the country. The AstraZeneca is here, the Sinopharm, the J&J. So I think it's open for people to go and take it.
Absolutely. But again, you will see that I think a lot of people have been taking it as well. I think, remember when they sent in the first consignment of AstraZeneca, all of that was used. And we had to wait for the second one. A lot of people were worried, when are we going to have the second one? And we remember when we had the J&J, the Johnson & Johnson one. I mean, within, what, a week, 3 days, I think it was, I think 11,000. That was also people were going out. So let us be careful. We talk about vaccine hesitancy, and certainly it is here. But let us not talk ourselves into making it widespread. Yes, there's vaccine hesitancy, but again, it seems a lot of people are also changing their minds.
So are you saying that it's not as bad as it seems when it comes to the vaccine hesitancy?
Let's push on the positive stuff. They tell you that when you emphasize the negative bit, it tends to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Just for the human psychology, it's good for people out there to know that actually a lot of people are also taking it.
Yeah, they
so
are.
let us push that story.
Yeah, that's
let us
true.
push that story
Yeah.
so that it will balance it. Let's try to reflect the more positive aspects of what we're doing that can have a powerful sort of inspirational
Probably
effect.
the reason why the WHO is
like
stressing the vaccine hesitancy as well is just to make sure that people know this is existing and there's
absolutely.
a need to go get the jab.
It is certainly existing, but yet people must also know that a lot of people are also changing their minds. So for those who are still remaining there, well, a lot of people amongst your ranks are also leaving. They also believe that they should go and take it. So let us try to have a more balanced one and you know, just give people the facts, the bare facts, and then you decide. If everybody has a capacity for rational thinking.
That's important. Go get your vaccine. It's real. COVID-19 is real. Go get it. You can have them almost everywhere. I mean, now.
So just quickly, I know time is up almost, but we've also seen that the managing director of NAWEC on Wednesday said his institution has secured funding for the electrification of over 685 communities worldwide from 2021 to 2023. And the last time we were talking about solar lamps, the OMVG and all of that, and now we have this. Seems like a move in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that area, it's been a problem for God knows how long. Most of us were sort of pinning our hopes finally on the OMVG project, and I understand that it is nearing completion. So that is it. So anything we can do to get energy all over the place, I mean, in our homes or investment, I mean, it's just so basic. There are certain things that are so basic that we should really be angry with ourselves, be annoyed with ourselves that we cannot provide it. We cannot provide the most basic things, be it, you know, electricity, the whole infrastructural stuff, roads, good roads, and stuff like that.
All right.
So
yes. Mr. Mboji, did you notice that I said worldwide instead of countrywide? It seems I want this to be something general, just to make sure that electricity is not a problem globally. But this is a nationwide initiative from 2021 to 2023, targeting 685 communities in the country. So I'm afraid, Mr. Mboji, we might have to keep you for our community watch segment. A 17-year-old allegedly caught stealing, beating to death. So let's take a look at this video, and when we come back, we'll get to discuss this very unfortunate situation.
Family members, joined by friends of the late 17-year-old Sirif Hydra, took to the streets of Farfenni to make sure that firm action is taken against those involved in killing the teenager. According to his mother, Nene Galle Jallo, her son was killed when she was away. Nene Galle further revealed that one of those accused of involvement in the killing, Alaji Bambo Jadama, was a good friend of Sirif's.
Man dama tukki woon ñoro laa demoon dem seeti suma mag wax bu mujj bu may li ak moom man mu naa ma yaay demal ba ñëwee di nga ma fi fekk ma ñëw fekk ñu rey suma doom.
I traveled to Nyoro to visit my brother. Before I left, he told me, "Mom, go. You will find me here." I came back and found that they have killed him. The accused came to me one day and told me to give him onions and also lend him my gas bottle. My son told me he is his friend. He killed him in a gruesome way by tying his hands and legs.
Ibrahim Hydra, the stepfather of the deceased, narrated how the news reached him and the terrible condition in which Sirif's corpse was found. He also advocates that serious legal action must be taken against those responsible.
11 o'clock.
They came to me at 11 o'clock while I was sitting at the gate. They greeted and asked for Sirif's mother. I told them that Sirif's mother has traveled. They asked for the father and I told them it is me. They told me that Sirif is being detained in one compound. I went there and found Sirif lying in the veranda and not covered. I told them that he is dead and I went and called the police.
Hawa Hydra, a sister of the deceased, explained the good relationship she had with her late brother. According to her, Sirif was very helpful and kind.
I am crying because I cannot keep quiet. If he come to my house, he used to give me money when he finds out that my feast money is not enough. My dad came and told me that my brother is dead. What they did to him is very evil.
Fafa Gay, who was so close to Sirif, said that the maltreatment his friend was subjected to before his death was painful and uncalled for. He appealed to the authorities to take drastic action against those involved in the killing and for them to face the full force of the law. At this stage, while the body has been transported to the hospital for forensic examination and an autopsy, 3 suspects are currently under police custody and helping the ongoing criminal investigation. Now that Sirif is finally gone, the family wants justice. They also hope that if strong action is taken against these perpetrators, it will deter others from taking the law into their own hands. For QTV News, I am Bakar Balde.
Wow. Welcome back from that. That's quite very unfortunate situation there. Mr. Mboch, let's talk about taking the law into your own hands. That is what we've seen, because these videos have been trending on social media, on TikTok, and people are making fun of it. And people have gone to the extent of saying, when you catch a thief, don't even waste your time to take them to the police station. Deal with them. That is the situation right now.
Oh, what a coarse, what a vulgar way of thinking. First, regarding this case, we must tread gingerly, carefully, this particular one, because it will be, allegedly, it will be investigated, and then whatever happens. But the general points regarding this, I really couldn't believe this one. I can't believe that when that poor boy was being beaten up so mercilessly, at some point somebody will say, hey, look, we are going overboard here. You know, we're doing it over a bit. Let's stop. We will kill him. It was unbelievable. They beat him to death. This is awful, sickening. I just couldn't believe it. Quite astonishing. We used to hear, let's be honest, it's common when you catch a thief and then you beat them up and that sort of thing. But with this one, we understand that he had not actually stolen anything, because our news editor called our reporter and said, look, confirm, what did he steal? He said, actually, he had not stolen anything, but he was loitering with intent. Now, what does that mean?
So the action itself hasn't taken place yet.
Unbelievable. So this is what we've heard so far. So we'll see what the investigations would yield and what would happen, what would come out of this. Because we must send a strong message out there that this kind of behavior is unacceptable.
I can remember a few months ago, citizens were taking the law into their own hands, painting thieves, you know, hanging them, beating them up very seriously. And the police sent a press release that this is not done, it's not right. It's the duty of the police to carry their investigation. If a thief break into your house, take him to the police station. But that information was sent. But it's like people are not taking heed of the police press release. Then this thing happened, Mr. Mboch.
Absolutely.
What happened if people are not listening to the police?
Yes, and even it's not just the police, just simple common sense, simple morality. What happened there was utterly immoral. We must know that. I don't need the police to tell me that. The legality of it is one thing, but the morality of it, we all know. But do not take the law into your own hands.
Okay, let's put it this way. It's going to be two-sided. Most people also said, if you send your thief to the police, at the end of the time you will see the thief on the street again. You people will be greeting each other. So that's why they don't have to take their thieves to police anymore. They will beat them up.
Absolutely, that's a relevant point. So I hope that the police really are taking note that perhaps if you see this increase, this sort of proliferation in mob justice, maybe you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So there must be, you have the two must really meet. But the police, the institution, as it were, must do what they need to do. Citizens must also understand that this is the law, and not simply the law. Let's bring in the notions of morality. We all say that we are family, we are close, the neighborliness and all these things. Let us bring good values, decency into our social relationships.
Yeah, you know, Janaba, they would have just sent him to the police. If they sent him, it would save them from being detained at this time, Mr. Mboch.
Look, just as I've said, when we were younger, we all used to, we've seen it before, thieves caught and beat up. But I remember when we were younger, if you're going beyond a certain point, an adult will come and say, oops, that's enough. You see, that was the
Violent
social authority. Not just your parents, any adult in the neighborhood would come and say, that's enough.
Yeah, but
it seems that has broken down now.
Yeah, but Mr. Mboch, I think another thing that is worth given attention is the fact that he talks about the fact that when these people are detained, probably 5 days or 10 days later, you see them on the streets. But what do you think can be put in place to make sure that these people are given some sort of counseling or support in a way that they won't get back to doing the same thing? That is also a point.
Well, I'm not sure whether one can ever really do that. Here, what we are thinking about, that was why I bring out the distinctions between the institutional bodies and their responsibilities, what they're supposed to do. You know, when somebody brings in a thief, investigate properly. If you have to prosecute, prosecute. But we have this habit of just negotiating things, just working it out. You know, maybe the two families, maybe the person who tried to steal from you is in fact your cousin, but you just don't know each other. So here things are so tight, so afterwards the families would come and negotiate it, and it just moves on. So when people say that, perhaps they might feel that there's impunity. So that is it. So institutions must realize that they need to be tough where they need to be tough, otherwise people will take the law into their own hands.
Absolutely.
There's a correlation. There's a correlation between the two.
But I think it is also important that mechanisms are put in place probably to provide some sort of skill or some sort of counseling or rehabilitation in a way for these people when they come out. Because eventually they're going to come out and probably they're going to go back to the same thing. How about that?
No, here we are at the level of reporting, apprehension, and whether we need to punish. Now, when I lock you up, maybe I'll lock you up. Then I'll give you skills. Obviously,
that's the part I'm talking about.
Prison or detentions and the sort of thing, especially where it involves younger people, you try to rehabilitate, not simply to punish.
Yeah. So that's the part I'm trying to drive out.
So that's it. So it's a step at a time, absolutely. First, it's about somebody does something, then when we catch the person, what do we do? What are the institutions doing? That's it. So once we go beyond that, perhaps we prosecute you, and then you've been found guilty, and we lock you up. And then there, we try to give you skills to
ensure this doesn't continue. Because he talked about the fact that next minute they're out and doing the same thing. So there should be a way of actually controlling the circle.
But what he is saying that next minute they're out, that isn't after he had been sent to prison. It's actually at the police station.
I get that point. I get that
But within 3 or 4 days, what can we do for you? So it's just that I think they tend to negotiate about it, and with them perhaps it's a minor issue. And then when you look at the courts as well, they've got so many cases, so how long would it take? So you have a chain reaction of difficulties, which would perhaps make the police officers behave the way they do, and then the repercussions on how people would see it. So it's not easy.
It's a problem.
True. And Ibrahim, just yesterday we were talking about how Gambians fear the courts. When you talk about court, then you order them court, and then everybody disappears.
Exactly.
And how will we prosecute these cases if we as Gambians say we will not go to the courts as well? So that's another challenge on the side of the police.
This is what I mean, the social norms.
Yeah.
So this is why they negotiate, you know, the elders or the two families and stuff like that. And often the difficult thing is often you find out that actually you're related somehow. This place is so small.
So it's critical.
It's a social issue.
Sometimes it's a problem regarding the courts. At some point you cannot send a particular person to court because of the family relation. If you send a person to court, you might be regarded as a black sheep of the family. You know, so it becomes a problem, Mr. Mboch.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Mohamed Mboch, for coming, for staying with us on the newspaper review, as well as the community watch. It's always good to have you here. Looking forward to another session with you. So we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to social issues, and we're joined by the PRO of the IEC to take us through the electoral process so far in the country. Do stay tuned.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and I'm your host, Jenna Bosonko, joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Balde.
We are here.
Back here. So, IEC registration process, we'll be talking about that, and talk about just the elections in general, because it's fast approaching December 1st, and we are joined by Park Khan, the PRO of the IEC, to talk to us about the electoral process so far. Before we delve into the questions in depth, I know the registration process has passed. Now we're on to the revising codes. Just give us a quick update as to how these processes were, quickly, before we go into the conversation in depth.
Yes, thank you very much. As we all know, we already had the voter registration, which was held from May 29th to July 11th, 2021. And we always say that it's a process, registration process. So we did the registering already. So now we're trying to create the list, or the voters list, that's the register. So in so doing, we have the revising court, which would certify those voters lists, which would then become the master register, which would be used for all subsequent elections for the next 10 years.
All right. So let's talk about having a free and fair election, Ibrahim, because now you already talked about the fact that the voter registration has passed, the revising courts are here. If people have any complaints, they can channel it through there. So how is the IEC working towards ensuring that generally there's a free and fair elections? I know the chairman has come out several times to say that you are working towards ensuring this, and the president as well has come out to reiterate that his government is working to ensure this. But we just want to know what is put in place to ensure that the elections is free and fair.
In elections, we always say the very foundation of elections is the voter register. This is the list of people who go out there to register, who go out there to exercise their franchise. That's the rights given to them by law to come and choose their leaders. So this is where it all starts, by creating the voter register, which right now we are doing. It is the process that is ongoing right now. Just on the 16th of this month, 16th of August, the Commission displayed the list, the provisional list for that matter. This was displayed to all registration centers, to bantabas, to schools, etc., where people were registered. These have already been done. And legally, the lists were supposed to be there for a period of 10 days. So during this period, people can go out and check out the list, check out their names, whether their names have been spelled correctly, whether their details have been captured accurately. And also, on the other side, people who think that somebody somehow is not qualified to be registered can also pick up those names of people and then go to the revising court. This is why I was saying it's a process.
Okay, let's still connect this to free and fair election. In 2016, there was a confusion of the tabulation, creating the impasse. Do you have robust contingency measures to avoid that this time? Because there was so much noise in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very well. You know, it's a learning process. Of course, the IEC has conducted elections from 1997, I guess, 1996, 97, up to date. There's various cycles of elections. And I would say the outcome, we are very much accurate. So 2016 for us, we always say, we need time to defend. Some things happen, right? But then it's a learning process, and we've learned from that. And rest assured, this is history.
Director, take us through what was the problem. We just want to clarify this. We want you to clarify it. What was the problem?
The problem, I would say, the key problem was pressure, political pressure. I would say this was the only problem, or the main problem.
Pressure.
And again, I would say, like IEC, we always try to go fast, okay? We've seen in many African countries, people go to the polls, and it takes months to get the results. The Gambia, this doesn't happen. People vote within 24 hours, they have their results. So I think maybe we may break with that. Maybe people may vote and we sit for some days. Let's get something clear. Let's get something accurate before we come out.
Okay.
So I would say it's a learning process, and I'm sure this will never happen again.
Okay, let's go back to the list that you have at the Voters Registration Center after all the voters registration. What mechanism have you put in place to tell people this is where you should do your confirmation to know? Because most people don't know they should go and confirm from those papers you stick on the walls.
Very well. Right now, I would say the media houses have been provided notices. Q Radio, I'm not sure, QCell. But then I know many radio stations.
How come are you not sure? The biggest radio station in the Gambia, Q Radio.
Are you the biggest?
Yes, we are the biggest.
Okay. So now we know that we've engaged many community radios, many media houses, the radio, the newspapers, and we provided the notices for them to inform people that the lists are out there and they should go and check. So this is ongoing.
Okay, Janaba.
Yeah, so he just talked about ensuring that there's a free and fair elections, and pressure obviously contributed to issues as such when it comes to not having the accurate numbers. So moving on, let's talk about election observers, because I think these are very important individuals who could actually ring the bell if something goes wrong. So are you working on putting together election observers come December 4th?
Very well. I would confirm to you that right now it's even not yet time, right? But people are in a haste. So I would say we've received interest from many observers, many organizations, both local and international, that they are ready and willing to come and observe the elections of December 2021. And rest assured, you know, we always say the more we have observers, the better, because they add credence to the process. So right now, I would tell you that we have a lot of observers waiting for accreditation, both local and international.
Okay, interesting.
All right, Jenna, well, let's talk about the whole registration process. Now, let's talk like Gambians. Let's Gambianize it. Are you happy with the registration process, the whole process? Are you happy with it? Are you comfortable with it?
I would say very well. I was very comfortable. Because maybe I'll take you a little bit into history. That the registration exercise was supposed to start in February 2021. But some obstacles, for which reason the exercise was delayed for months. Instead of February, it was dragged up to May, June, July. So which, of course, you know, brought us a lot of challenges, operational challenges, I would say mainly. But nonetheless, I think the Commission did very well to surmount those challenges, such that the process started maybe not smoothly, with some hitches, of course. And I would say at the final end, the process went well, because I would say every Gambian who turned out to be registered was registered. I would confirm that there is no single Gambian who will tell you that I went to register and I was not registered because of there is no material or because of A, B, or C. I would say no. I will confirm that every Gambian who turned out to be registered before the 11th of July was duly registered. So I would say then it's a success.
Okay. All right, Jenabo, that's a success.
Yeah, he talks about you.
I hope you got your ID.
I got mine. Actually, we should have even brought it here to actually show people, just to show people that we are ready to vote come December 4th. So we already got it. So I think it's left to us on God now to actually know who will be voting for come December 4th. You already talked about constraints, and then we could remember that throughout the registration process, there were complaints here and there in relation to being able to register. That sometimes you go to a registration center and you know la hara tuti machine bit of a tanga, so we just want to know if December 4th we won't get to experience any problem whereby somebody will be told go sit in a corner and wait. We are sorting out things. Hope everything is set and ready to ensure that there will not be a lot of constraints when it comes to preparations.
Yes, I would say that right now we are making everything set and ready, okay? Because right now we're doing the display exercise so that people can go out and check the list. But then one thing happens, people don't even go out. Most people don't go out and confirm their names. Even though the lists have been, they hang out there for 10 days or even more. But most Gambians don't go out and confirm their names. So I think this is worrying. But nonetheless, as a commission, I would say that we are working tirelessly to put everything in place, and people would vote as conveniently as possible. And in fact, to add to that, we've even added some number of polling stations. Like the policy of the commission is to bring voting to the doorstep of every Gambian, so that in doing that, now we've tried to reduce the voting distance. Like people who may have to travel far, we try to get them a polling station. So we've opened a lot of new centers across the country. Okay. So I'm sure Gambians would be more comfortable in voting this time.
What will happen to Ibrahim Balde if he is found, he registered at Manjai Kunda, then he went to Lamen and registered again for the second time? What will happen to Ibrahim?
Yes, these are problems that the database identified right now. These are called the double registrations or multiple registrations, which is in fact legal. It's punishable under the electoral laws. You see somebody register in Banjul, the next day he go and register in Bakau, or even he may go and register in Basse. So these are criminal activities. It's a crime to register more than once. As a Gambian, you are entitled to one vote. That's your right. So in having one vote, you must only register only once. So why must you go and register double or even multiple?
Is there not any point where if I register in Manjai Kunda, then I go to Lamen and register? Is there not any point where you will detect, okay, this guy registered twice?
Yes, because it happens, like most media houses have been raising this point, that we've informed the public that we are using a biometric system. So they believe once somebody comes in La Rekunda, he registers, and immediately if he gets to Banjul or Bakote, they detect that right away. But, okay, it doesn't happen like that. You know, like we normally deploy machines or teams across the country, and they all go out simultaneously. They all work, 220 teams have been deployed. Every machine working independently. So just to say that there is no connection between those machines, so that if you register in point A, once you arrive in point B,
it will show double registration.
Yeah, it will show. So the point is that all the data is gathered after the registration process, when all the names, are matched against each other using the biometric data, so that if a fingerprint appears more than once, the machine would, the database would identify that this person registered double or multiple.
All right.
So these are constraints that we have.
So moving on, let's talk about political parties becoming political party members as elections observers, because we've seen that during the registration process, we've heard of probably other militants from other parties actually attacking other people to say, oh, you're not supposed to register, you're not supposed to do this. So I just hope come December 4th, we won't have somebody from another party telling another party member what to do, you should not vote here or you should not do this. Hope all of these things will be regulated properly, because I know observers from different political parties will be around. We can't say that they cannot be there. Is that so?
Yeah, these are not observers. Let me just correct you. That these are not observers. A political party cannot observe elections.
Okay.
They are there to contest elections.
They're there to contest elections, but normally we have political party members.
Yeah, let me learn.
Party reps, yes. They are like party reps, let me say, yes.
Agents, huh?
Yeah. Agents, let's say, yeah.
Agents, they are agents.
But in as much as they're agents, they're watching over what is happening anyway.
They are the agents for the political parties. Like a political party, you have the right and sometimes the privilege, sometimes it's not even a right, it's a privilege, that you send agents to observe the electoral process.
Then they're observing. Are they not observing now?
Okay, maybe the semantics may be different.
Exactly, but still they're looking
an observer has certain limitations.
Limits,
right?
yeah, but they're still looking out for things.
So, right, so those agents appointed by the political parties would follow the process on behalf of the party. And in case they pick out anything wrong, then they should report to the political party.
Yeah.
And not to intervene in the process, which we experienced during the registration, which was wrong.
Okay, so how are you ensuring that it doesn't repeat?
Your right is just to observe the process, report back to your political party, and that's where your role stops. But they must not interfere. They must not harass. They must not intimidate people who came out to register or who came out to vote in elections. That's not their role. Because in doing so, they are taking the law in their own hands. This is Gambia. You know, this is a lawful country. There are laws that guides processes, including elections.
But most laws are not followed.
Yeah, and the question is, why is it that the IEC allowed that privilege to actually go beyond its limit with what we've seen during the registration process? How can you assure us that come December 4th, something like that won't repeat itself?
The IEC never allowed that. This happens just in the beginning, like in the first weeks. When certain parties, you know, there was one problem. We had a lot of new political parties. And unfortunately, most of their agents were not even trained. They have no clue of the process. So which I think, come the elections, I think the IEC have to support the political parties by making sure that all their agents have training on elections, so that they know their responsibilities, they know their roles and all that during elections. So I think this is what we have to do as a commission, to make sure that the political party agents know where their limitations stop.
Okay. So we're looking forward to that then.
Absolutely.
Because like we've seen during the registration process, that was a huge problem. So we just hope that come December 3rd, we won't have a party militant actually, or a party rep, or an agent, as you call it. You said they're not observing directly, in as much as they're looking over things, that they won't be actually attacking each other. Yes. We're looking forward to that.
I have something to ask. Yes. I mean, when are we Gambians graduating from the marble to the paper voting? When I watch TV and I see other countries doing the paper voting, I feel very happy. I mean, these things make me happy when you vote. Paper. I think it's more professional. What do you think?
You know, things evolve, right? Gambia have been using the marbles from independence. Even during the colonial times, the marble was introduced by the colonial government. And over time, the marble proved very efficient, very effective, very transparent. It conducted various elections for the First Republic and even for the Second Republic. But right now, and one thing I have to say, like with the marble, with some few candidates, it does very well. But then, if we have a lot of candidates then here comes the problems, especially in terms of logistics. So, you know, like, okay, from the point of view of the IEC, the Commission had the intention to migrate from the marble to the ballot paper, for which the Commission even did a consultation, public consultation, I think in around 2018, 2019. And this was pushed, and you know, we had these reforms, this electoral reform, which I think still now the laws provide for the use of the marble. So I think for IEC, we think we have to migrate to ballot paper. It's time that we migrate.
Yes, definitely.
Even though most Gambians, they still want to, you know, use the marble because they think it's more transparent, you know, or they have more trust in the marble. So this is a challenge that we are facing.
Okay.
So I think the laws need to be changed to provide for the use of ballot paper in elections.
Let's talk about people outside voting. You are not in the country and you want to vote. Let's talk about these people.
The diaspora.
The diaspora,
yes.
I think there have been 2 lawsuits
currently.
One failed and there's another one in the courts as well.
Very well. You know, we had some challenges. Like the IEC always intends to register every Gambian, including the diaspora. In fact, diaspora was fully well in the IEC's activities. These were proposed activities. But then, you know, we have laws, and I would always say the IEC is not a law-making body. It's a law-implementing body. So we only act based on the provisions of the law. Okay, we can see like in the Constitution, the laws provide for the diaspora to participate. But then the act is deficient in this manner. Because to register in a foreign country, they have to be provided by law. And for now, this is not in the law. So, you know, like there was this agitation by many stakeholders for Gambians to abroad to register. Some went to the courts and all that. But still now, the law doesn't provide for it. Because if you have to be registered in another foreign country, you have to be registered in a constituency, which in effect means that the constituencies have to be provided or established in those foreign countries. For example, you may say, you may create 2 or 3 constituencies, like an African constituency. Like Gambian diasporas in the continent of Africa can register in that constituency, just like somebody registering in Serekunda West or Banjul North or Banjul South. So the law have to provide those constituencies abroad. For example, the African constituency, the European constituency, the Asian constituency, or the American constituency, so that those Gambians in diaspora can be registered under those constituencies. So this is lacking at the moment.
So IEC is waiting for the law to provide those constituencies, right?
Yes.
But is there any engagement between IEC? I know you are not a law-making body. You implement the laws. But is there any time that you engage those responsible for the laws? Why not we do this? Why not we do that? Or is it that you just wait for them to implement?
Not to wait, actually. There have been consultations, you know, some months ago between the National Assembly, the Ministry of Justice, and the IEC. The IEC was always participating in the process. There were various draft bills. This was called the Elections Bill. We had for 2020 or 2021. I think you have different versions. Huh? So the IEC was fully engaged in the process. And in fact, the issue of the ballot paper was even there. That the Commission proposed to the lawmakers that now it's about time, or it's even time for the Commission or for the Gambia to shift from the marble, which is huge logistics in terms of elections, to the use of the ballot paper. Because now, guess now, we have how much? 18 political parties.
Almost.
18, actually. And maybe we'll,
and independent.
And we'll have more,
yeah.
Right? And maybe, guess what? We have 10, at least 10 or 5 independent candidates.
Yeah.
That's how much? 23 or 4. Huh? So guess what? You line up 23 ballot drums, and people have to come and vote, choose one from those.
It's hectic, isn't it?
It's difficult, I would say.
Exactly. Then therefore, a lot of sensitization have to be done. Otherwise, Majola people will just come take the marble and place it on the drum. Anto.
Exactly. You know, in election we say you have to make a choice. No?
Yeah.
And in making that choice, we always say you have to make an informed choice. You have to vote for your choice, for your real choice.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
An informed choice.
Yeah.
So like you have a row of 18 to 20 ballot boxes. Even going through them, I think maybe
it's stressing.
So I think
anyway,
right now, you know, the public, I think it's important we talk to our lawmakers.
Yeah.
Let's change. We have to go ballot
At least this conventional way of voting, we should use that now.
Anyway, like we always say on the program, it's the public that talks about the fact that maybe the ballot is not okay, the paper is not okay for, and it is their right because that's what they believe. I think the only thing we can do is obviously to sensitize them, but not to force it on them. So it's left to them to eventually decide what.
Very well. Because one thing I know, for most people, it's all about the trust.
Okay.
Like they trust the marble 100%.
Okay. So it's now your role to actually make sure that they trust the paper, isn't it?
Yeah,
so work on
well,
that as a commission. Thank you so much, Sam Parkan, for coming. It has been really good to have you here to enlighten us in relation to the registration process and come December 4th in relation to just all the electoral processes. So we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will take a look at sports update. For a while, we've not been having the sports update, but we'll be joined by...
There's a lot happening in the world of sports.
Yeah, so we'll be joined by Adedrami to update us in relation to that. Do stay tuned.
Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world. Join the Gambia's fastest growing network and enjoy high-speed 4G LTE. Dial *335# to subscribe to QCell's 4G LTE service. There's no need to swap your SIM. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. Ibrahima, we're joined by our colleague, Adedrami, to take us through what is happening in the world of sports.
As you said before the break, world of sports, we haven't had it on this morning for a while.
Yeah.
And it's not as if nothing's been happening. In fact, quite a lot has been happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fortune FC have qualified for the Champions League, first Gambian team for a long time, and we're really keeping our fingers crossed that they go and do well. But I won't be talking about football today. I'll be talking about two sports, Paralympic sports, and also basketball. This has been a fantastic year for basketball in Africa. But I think we should kick off with the Paralympics, which is just kicked off in Tokyo. So if you've been watching, listening, of course the Olympics have just ended, and now it's time for the Paralympians. And there's been a short report by our colleague, Mamadou Gajaga. So let's take a look at that, and then when we come back, we'll discuss it some more.
In a colorful ceremony, Gambia's flag was among many nations as the Tokyo Paralympic Games kicked off. Athletes Malantamba and Fatou Sane are the two Gambians competing at the event. Both athletes will compete in the wheelchair racing. Gambia made its Paralympic debut in London 2012 before a second appearance in the Rio Paralympics in 2016. 2 athletes have represented the West African nation in both events. Tokyo 2020 will be the biggest Paralympic Games ever, with a record number of athletes set to take part. In addition, more female athletes than ever before will line up at the postponed Games, which opened on August the 24th. Host nation Japan will have the most athletes at the Games with 254, nearly doubled their delegation at Rio 2016. In total, 4,403 athletes, 2,550 male, 1,853 female will compete across 22 sports and 23 disciplines, with 4,328 athletes. Rio 2016 held the previous record for the most athletes. This means Tokyo now has the record for most athletes at the Games. Just like the Olympic Games 2 weeks ago, the Paralympic Games will go ahead without spectators due to the rise in COVID-19 cases in Japan. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
The dulcet tones there of our colleague Mamudu Gajaga telling us, and really quite a lot to look forward to. Although we've only got 2 athletes competing at the Games for the Gambia. I mean, in the Olympics we had, what, 5? But nonetheless, we were rooting for them every step of the way. No different here. You've got Fatou Sane in the 100 meters wheelchair, and you've got Malang Tamba in the 200 meters wheelchair as well. And really, what we want from them is what we got from the Olympians. Do your best, probably beat your personal best, break a national record, and hey, who knows, come back with a medal. But you know, hopes are high because there've been all sorts of you know, problems, delays because of COVID. Obviously, the event itself has been delayed because of COVID. But really, they've gone there, and you know, we're sort of keeping our fingers crossed that they'll do really well.
All right. So do you think the right attention is given to Paralympic, not just in Gambia, but generally, because considering the fact that our representatives this year are participating under the wild card?
Yeah. The short answer is no.
Okay.
It's not given, but not just in the Gambia.
No, it's a general problem, it seems.
Indeed. So much so that the International Paralympics Committee this year has actually tried to make available these Paralympics free to air for sub-Saharan African countries. And who knows, keep watching, and you never know, there might be some good news on QTV on that front. But you know, no promises made. But and the reason they've done that is they say that there's been too little attention paid to Paralympic sports in sub-Saharan Africa.
All right, so we're just going to take a short commercial break, it seems, and when we come back, we will get back to the sports updates. We'll be right back.
Join the Gambia's fastest growing network and enjoy high-speed 4G LTE. Dial *335# to subscribe to QCell's 4G LTE service. There's no need to swap your SIM. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and we're joined by our colleague Adedrame in relation to the sports update, and we're just talking about Paralympics and the fact that globally there's not much attention given to it.
I wouldn't say globally. I think Africa is
in particular
is the culprit here, because if you go to England, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, where I've been, the amount of attention they give to Paralympic sports is the same as they give to, you know, for want of a better sports, Olympic sports, let's say. And so really we're trying to change that. And I think we have a duty to that as well, as the media, QTV and other channels. I think we should feature Paralympic sport more than we do. And so, you know, hold our hands up and say, you know, we've been as guilty as anybody else. But I think we're hoping to change that, and we're hoping that other countries follow suit. So, you know, let's keep our fingers crossed that we show more, we feature more, but also I think there should be more support from across the board, from government, from private institutions to our Paralympians. We should be sending more than just 2 athletes. to games of this magnitude, really.
Yeah, let's talk about the number of women participation this year. There is more women participation, Mr. Ade,
than ever.
Yes,
which is good. And I was watching the medal table just before I came on here, and the Great British team, for example, they're celebrating. I think their women have already won 10 medals just in the space of 2 days, including, I think, 5 golds. So already, you know, the women are showing that, you know, they have a right to be there, and they're proud to be there. The one thing that I think is kind of sad for me, both for the Olympics and the Paralympics, is the fact that there are no spectators yet again. I mean, you know, if you're used to the Olympic Games, I remember as far back as the 1964 Olympic Games, you always play to packed crowds, and then to have this now where, you know, they're not. And the shame for me is that football has returned in many countries, and they've returned with spectators. And yet the Olympic Games, we're seeing it because of the rise in COVID cases in Japan. So there are no spectators, and that's a shame for me. But we saw lots of records set in the Olympics, and let's hope we see the same in the Paralympics.
All right.
Hopefully.
So moving on, is that
moving on, yes, basketball. Basketball in Africa this has been a bumper year, 2021. Earlier in the year, around May, pardon me, we had the Basketball Africa League, the BAL, and that was held in Kigali, Rwanda. And that one featured club sides, and it was run by Zamalek of Egypt. And now, from the 24th of August to the 5th of September, again in Kigali, Rwanda, you have what is called Afro-Basket. And it's been fantastic. It's been absolutely brilliant so far. And let's just have a quick clip here, and I'll talk through as we play this clip. The Basketball Africa League, which is linked to the NBA, is these are national teams. But of course, what you found is because some of these teams did really well, club sides did really well in the Basketball Africa League, of course, the players have been drafted into their national teams, you know, to compete in this. And already, the first day started with a couple of upsets. Rwanda, the hosts, a nation, actually beat Congo. But the biggest shock, I have to say, was Cape Verde beating Angola. I mean, Angola have won this competition 12 times, wow. And Cape Verde beat them in their first game. And so really, really competitive. And that's quite interesting because I saw the press conferences before the matches. And in the Angola coach was saying there's, you know, fellow Portuguese-speaking country, but we don't expect them to give us too much trouble. But as it turned out, Cape Verde beat them. But another equally big shock, actually, was Rwanda beating Congo, because Congo have also done quite well in this competition in the past. So that was, but for African basketball fans, this is really exciting, because unlike the club sides, these are the national teams. And unfortunately, Gambia is not there, but Senegal are there, and they're playing as we speak. Yeah.
It seems that due to time constraints, we might have to leave you.
Sure.
I call you an all-rounder when it comes to journalism. That's what I say behind your back. Bring him on the newspaper review, he will nail it. Take him to sports, he will nail it. So thank you so much for joining us.
My
it's
pleasure.
Always good to have you here. So moving on, we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to our Click segment. We'll be joined by Buba Fati, and he'll be having an interview with Mam Jara Production. Do stay tuned.
So you've got...
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. It seems I want Buba Fati in the studio, but unfortunately we can't have him here today. He's here with us in spirit, but he did an interview with Mamjara Production, so we will take a look at that. And I wish we had him here. He's always adding value to whatever that we do.
Definitely.
But still, it's all good. We will take a look at his interview with Mamjara Production.
Morning, brewers. It's your boy Skengman Swizy, and this is the morning show. My guest with me today is Pa Malik, aka Mamjara Promotion. So, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
My name is Pa Malik Mbai. I was born in Banjul. I started music as a career, I think in 1996, and then I think I dropped my first music video 97 at the Zone 2. I think, if I get it right, my video was the first rap video to be played on GRTS.
You tell me you were an artist before?
Yes, that's my profession. People who've been following Gambian music, the old generation, they know Mad Dragon.
This is a news to me though. I never knew you were an artist because people hardly see it in you. You're now doing more of the promotion work than the artistic work of it.
Yeah, because it's in the blood. Because there is a song today, if I sing this song, many of the young people are listening to this song and they might not even know I'm the one who sang this song together with Yusuf Angom, Galaxy Crew. Fatuyo si Jalalalo, you know?
It's a song that I vibe to all the time, but I never knew you were the artist behind the song.
It was me doing the rap, you know, and Yusuf Angom, Mickey Boy, you know, big shout out to them. We did our musical career together, you know. So being in the music, it's not new for people who know me, because this is what I know. This is what I know, and this is what I love doing. So whatever I do can make me money, but no fun. So music is my area. That's what.
Now, tell us your work as a promoter, from a musician to a promoter, to a music promoter. So tell us your work as a promoter, actually.
Yeah, I think the reason why I came back to this game, because I want to help develop Gambian music. The reality is, during our days, Gambian music was nice, but there was nothing it was giving out back to us. So, as I normally said, Gambian music owes me, because I played Gambian music for fun, I get fame, but I haven't got nothing out of it. I went out to Europe. I live in Sweden with my family. Big shout out to Madam and my kids. We hustled, and then we got something little, and then we decide to come back and give it back to Gambian music. So today, you know, the reason why I become a promoter, as I said, is in the blood, and this is something that I love seeing. And I saw some talents in Gambia. They are well talented, but they need focus and direction, you know. So there I came in, you know, so I can help, you know, play my own part towards Gambian music and leave a legacy in the industry.
So you stage a concert which is just around the corner, the One Gambian concert, and you're working with politicians in the Gambia, and it's like you are preaching peace out there. It's like a peace concert sort of. So tell us a bit about the concert actually. What is the main brain behind the concert?
Okay, the main brain behind the concert is to bring one Gambia, because as a musician, as a promoter, I believe there is always time where we can use our influence and contribute towards nation development. Everybody knows we are not musicians, but the political language in the Gambia, we all know it's not very nice. Sometimes when you listen to some of the politicians, the way you talk, you become scared. So, and the funny thing is, most of the time when things got crazy, the most people you saw in the street or you see in the streets are young people. You know, and according to me, how I understand everything, young people understand a language. And the language they understand most is music. Why not we try to bring up a concert which is completely different from the normal concert people have been saying? And this is inviting our political leaders to a platform, not giving them the microphone to talk this time around, but just to come and sit on a VIP sitting where they will be chatting, drinking. For me personally, it will send a signal to the general public, to the world, that these people are not enemies, even though they have different political agendas, but they are not enemies.
It's like an all-inclusive concert, having different kind of categories.
It's an all-inclusive concert there. I never knew he's the one that is in that song.
That far to you,
it's so surprising to me. Where were you at the time that song was trending?
I was around.
Okay, what did that song mean to you?
It reminds me a lot of things.
Yeah,
Janaba.
I think we should send shout out to Charm Creation.
Yes, Charm Creation did this for us, Janaba. And we will do no justice if we didn't give out his number. 399-4919. 399-4919. Charm Creation moo ñu solal kontaan nañ ci Ibo Town la nekka dem leen mu solal leen.
All right, shout outs to Charm Creation. We really appreciate this. Without these people, then we can't be on TV, because they're the ones that give us all the amazing outfits that we get to wear on our programs. Bye for now till we come your way on Monday.